It's Wednesday night, and that means it's time for the Lamar Thomas Show, featuring the greatest receiver in the history of college football. Just ask them, Lamar Thomas.
I was born in Ocala, Florida. I moved to Gainesville to go to high school, being recruited probably since the 9th grade, illegally, I might add, by the University of Florida. I still can remember Coach Solinger, Don Solinger, coming out to our practice one day. Here it is, this guy comes out in the University of Miami jacket, and I said, I can't believe that's Miami out here. And, you know, I wanted to go up and say, hey, I'm Lamar Thomas. And actually, I did walk up to him and I said, hey, Coach, I'm Lamar Thomas. And he said, I know. And that was the start of my relationship with the University of Miami.
Patton, another good block, and Toretto lays it out.
You come down here, you'll be on TV every weekend, dominating. I thought about it. I said, man, where do I sign? My mom, on Saturday mornings, I would wake up and she'd be holding my hand. I thought she was the weirdest lady in the world. But she was holding my hands and she would be rubbing them and saying, one day these hands are gonna make you a lot of money. She was smart.
So now, here he is, the great one, along with co-host Gary Ferman of CaneSport.com, Lamar Thomas.
Good evening, Lamar.
Good evening, Gary Ferman. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. Time for the Lamar Thomas Show. What could be better than that?
I don't know, but hey, we're here and we're celebrating. I am enjoying some vitamin mineral water, and I'm ready to get this show on the road, man.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's first welcome everybody to another week of the Lamar Thomas Show presented by Caneswear. And you can see the store behind Lamar and myself tonight. Lamar's not live inside the store as he usually is, but certainly can talk about the wide assortment of merchandise that's available at Caneswear. And man, we've run out of home games, so we can't tell everybody to go buy Caneswear on your way to the game anymore, but you certainly can still go to Caneswear at 2655 South University Drive in Davie and get yourself some gear. Do your Christmas shopping early. Always a great idea. I haven't asked.
Or online. Or online. They open
or online for sure.
Now.
Caneswear.com, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I'm sure they're going to have some Black Friday specials coming up here in the near future. And so, yeah, there's never a bad time to go shopping at Caneswear. And we thank them for sponsoring the Lamar Thomas Show all year. And we'll talk a little bit more about Caneswear in a little bit here. But Lamar, we've got a lot to unwrap.
Yeah.
Both what happened this weekend at Hard Rock Stadium when North Carolina State came to town and what might happen in the future. You got a trip to Blacksburg this weekend where they are celebrating the hiring of James Franklin from Penn State. You've got the ACC race, which we could talk about a little bit. And I'll try my best to give you guys an idea where that stands. What a mess. I mean, what a mess. Woo! And then
I say all because we got some little Irish guys, some little freaking leprechauns messing it all up. Games that don't count, and we got games that one team played another team, the game don't even count. I mean, all kind of crazy stuff going on, man.
And then there's the College Football Playoff Committee, which is stealing a lot of the oxygen in the room with their goings on. So we could talk a little bit about that tonight as well. And we're going to be joined by Brett Romberg, the former Cane, who's always extremely entertaining and insightful on tonight's show. So you guys have that to look forward to as well. But LT, let's start out talking about the events at Hard Rock on Saturday with North Carolina State coming to town. And they, you're thinking they have the capability to challenge Miami. They were coming off a very impressive victory over Georgia Tech. They put 45 points up against the Yellow Jackets and gave them their only loss this season. And, now they come down to Miami and it's a homecoming for their quarterback, CJ Bailey. We're told it's going to be an audition for him to come to Miami and transfer portal potentially. And so you got all this buildup, and then the game began, and CJ Bailey looked like crap. Miami made him totally overwhelmed, and it might have been the Canes' most impressive performance of the season when you take into consideration the complete game that they played, Lamar. And it's something we've been looking for really since August. Notre Dame was allowed back in. Florida was allowed back in. Florida State, you had that horrendous fourth quarter. This was impressive start to finish, LT.
Yeah, it really was, Gary. When I was a little worried about this game because, as we continuously have said, people were looking forward, going forward. Oh, what about this game? What about this game? And I said, hey, let's concentrate on this team. They upset Georgia Tech. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm thinking, what North Carolina State is going to come down here? And like you said, CJ Bailey's coming back home, playing in front of his crowd, maybe an audition, maybe not. And I was a little worried. But I tell you what, the two coordinators who are, by the way, coordinators of the conference this week, coordinators of the week, put on a performance. I thought they had a very good game plan. I mean, our players played well. We'll talk about that, but I want to give some kudos to the two coordinators. They had a good game plan against NC State. Defensively, only giving up 23 yards rushing, only 149 yards total. And offensively, we looked like they didn't know, man, where's these outside runs, inside out game versus passing coming from? Where's the trickery coming from? They were shell-shocked. So I want to give kudos to both coordinators for what they were able to do in this game. And I think going forward, it's going to give Virginia Tech, who, they got a new coach in, even though he's not coaching, he's in the building. We'll talk about that a little later. But it'll give them some things to have to try to prepare for, because this is a totally different offense than what we saw against SMU per se, and even Louisville per se. This is and with Pringle being out there, it gives you a different look. And I got to be honest with you, I said it last week. After the trick play, the previous game, they ran the trick play out Syracuse. I was a little upset. I said that, Gary, but I saw the way the team responded. They were having fun, and guess what? It carried over into this North Carolina State game. That sideline was electric. Guys were high-fiving, doing their thing, talking, and it was great to watch, to be down there, to see them like that, because I've been down there in some of those games where we won, but it was just like, ho-hum, 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 because they kind of knew exactly what was going to happen. But kudos to those coordinators, especially offense, and that was a good game plan. Really good.
It's different. There's no denying it. No question about it. And I noticed up in Dallas that just how uptight the whole sideline seemed. Yeah. It's like, I was watching David Blay jump off sides and go, he's like removing himself from the game. Goes and sprints to the bench, and the coach was like, "Get back out there! Get back out there!" There were so many offensive pre-snap penalties and things like that, and they were just there was just so much tension. And this way that they're calling the games now has absolutely been a game changer. But it's funny, I asked Shannon Dawson this week, Lamar, about that. Like, how big of a binder do you have? What do you feel like you're doing differently that's working so well, whatever. And his response was, they're the same plays I've been calling all year. Okay. Now, listen, like, he might have called, like, I'm not suggesting that he started drawing plays up on an easel or something and totally changed his playbook. But he, without question, has changed the way that he's calling games and the way that he's attacking offense. And man, like, I wish he would just take bows, because it's looking really good and it's working, LT.
Yeah, it is working. Again, it's entirely different. If you go back and you watch film as a coach, we got to go back and watch 3, 4 games, and we're trying to put together a game plan. I got to tell you that if I'm a defensive coordinator, and I'm saying, whoa, 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 this ain't the same thing. We thought they were just gonna run up the middle, and we were gonna stack it up in that in a little play action or some screens to the flat. But no, 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 no. He has changed that thing. And maybe he's had those plays in there, but it didn't look the same because guess what? We got some new fresh legs in there. Pringle. I mean, what the hell? I like Pringles. I really like Pringles. When you pop that thing, they smell good, they taste good. Ooh, Pringles is running that thing, man. He is a different face for the defenses. I mean, this is gonna help when Mark comes back. Now you got Thunder Lightning, and then you still have Marty. I mean, the forgotten guy in this whole thing might be live. And that's not what we thought was going to happen. But man, Pringle looks good. Was it 116 yards on 17 carries, man? Kid looked really good, man. He's a kind of reminds me of a faster Leonard Conley. Remember that name, Leonard Conley?
Yes.
Just
A lot of similarities.
yeah, man. A faster though, he's a mixture of Alex Johnson and Leonard Conley. There you go. Two guys played at the same time. If you would have combined them, they would have been hell, just like Pringle.
Yeah. Now, look, I'm sure the plays have been in the playbook, at least most of them, but he's mixing formations.
Yeah.
He's changing personnel.
Yeah.
He's throwing trick plays into the
Yeah.
equation, variations of them week to week. Think about how much we've seen out of just the jet sweep in the last few weeks, with Malachi Tony doing different things. Sometimes he's running it, sometimes he's throwing it. Sometimes he's throwing back to Carson Beck. Sometimes he's throwing down the field to JoJo Trader. So they're doing a lot of different things and giving the defense a lot to think about. And it's been such a breath of fresh air. It was exactly what this team needed, LT, because it needed an injection of excitement. It's a long season, and these kids, when they make you number 2 in the country, that puts a lot of pressure on a team, and it's a lot of weight to carry around. And then when you start failing, that weight gets real heavy.
Yeah, it does. And the fact that they're deep at certain positions that a guy like Pringle, who was, from what I heard, was like scout team player of the week a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Now he'd
run over to get a few reps every now and then. He was on
run
the
over.
scout team.
Hey, I've been there. It's crazy to do that, but he runs over, gets a couple reps. Coach is like, man, that guy, and then he gets an opportunity. And like anything, you get that opportunity, he's run with it. Realistically, he's run with it. And man, he looks good. He's like a whole change of pace. That if you can somehow integrate those 3 backs together, keep them fresh, give them certain plays. I mean, they're all different. They're all kind of different guys. I mean, you don't. I mean, Fletcher, and I've said this since day one, that first game, Notre Dame, I liked him getting about 13, 14 carries. That's it. Keep him fresh. Because in the beginning of the season, man, he bam, bam, bam. I mean, and then we went to where he became like a Derrick Henry type back at some point. You know what I mean? And so he just didn't look the same. Maybe because they knew what was going on. But now you got 3 different backs and Loud. We can't forget about Loud because we know he's a player. 4 different backs that can do different things. And now you have a plethora of calls that you can make instead of the same thing. I mean, we saw outside stuff, we saw inside stuff, we saw it mixed up with some play action, we saw some drop back, we saw a lot of different things, like you said, including the jet sweep stuff. And when you mix all that in there together, it was so much better than just seeing the bunch and then spread screens and then run up the middle. And yeah, he probably had that in there since, but man, he's calling the game, and it's probably driving some defensive coordinators crazy right now.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, I just want to like throw props to the guy, but he keeps
Yeah,
saying, no,
he's
we're calling the
he's a
same
little
plays.
he's a little sensitive, man. He's yeah, I get it. I get it. Hey,
It's
now I
been
can
a
tell you
long
this,
season.
being on the sideline, I saw him get upset with a kid for not running the right route. And that is that pressure, man. That pressure, man. He wants this thing to go well, and he understands that the defense is playing well. That's where you got to ask yourself, if you're a coordinator, man, I got to do my part too. You know what I mean? You got when they mention Miami, they're mentioning defense. He's trying to get his name back up there too. So there's pressure on him to get, to have these guys, and they're playing well now. These last two games played extremely well. They're doing a lot of different things, but it was refreshing to hear him get in a kid for doing the wrong thing, because he's usually he's not real fiery, but he was fiery on Saturday about a couple things because he wants to make this thing right.
You coached under a pretty creative offensive guy in
Yeah.
Bobby Petrino. What is it about like the variety, the trick plays that can make an offense so effective if it's used in the right way, the right timing? What is it about that type of approach that makes it so successful for an offense?
Well, I think just being able to run the same play. First of all, run the same play out of different personnel. Okay. Um, and then being able to, let's say you have a really great player like Malachi Tony, not having the defense be able to figure out where he is, motion him around, moving him around, things like that. And those guys, man, they study. They study. They if they can get a bead on what you're in, they're gonna kill you. It's just not calling plays to see what you're in. If they know what you're in, they got you.
Yeah.
Because we practice all the time those explosive plays for every coverage that you're gonna run. And if they get a beat on it, and you got a good coordinator on top of things, on top of the game, he's gonna kill you. It doesn't matter what you call, because we've already run those plays and been successful. And having options. See, that's what you got to have progression. If one guy's down, the other guy's covered, then you go to that. They all have to somehow work together, and you give a quarterback. Don't just call a play. Like, that's the one thing Bobby Petrino used to say. If you're going to give me a play to run, tell me the progression. And then I want to know protection and progression. And if you can give him that, he'll put it in. But if you
Right.
can't, you just say, "Oh, I saw this play." What's the progression? Because you have to be able to give the quarterback, in his mind, if that's not there, where'd I go? If
Right.
that's not there, where'd I go? That's the calming sense of what a quarterback should. The great ones, they're able to go boom, 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 boom. So, yeah, it's great to watch those guys at work, and especially when it's working. Again, to be able to give your offense some variety and keep people off balance with trick plays and things like that, it can drive a defensive coordinator nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I love what I'm saying for sure. I know you do too.
Yeah,
You mentioned four running backs, Lamar. That's
yeah,
too many. There's not room for four running backs. Jordan Loud did not play
yeah.
in the NC State game. To me, that is a sign that he is probably or potentially. I don't want to say probably. Let's use the word potentially going to be the odd man out. Somebody is
Well,
probably somebody
but
is probably going to go to the transfer portal.
but Gary, hold on now. It's still 2 games left in the regular season, and we play well. Then we add a game or two, whether it's ACC championship or CFP. It's still a long season. There's still time.
Right, you could
I
still beat
hope
him.
that I hope that these guys stay prepared because, hey, God forbid, what if something happens and the guy goes down and he gets his call? You get your time. You got to be able to ring the bell when it's your time. And I've always said you got to be ready to stay ready to be ready to be. You got to be ready, man. Because if I reach back there and grab you as a coach and sling you in there, this is your time to shine. So, hey, man, again, Pringle shows up, right? But we've seen Lyle show up before. So, hey, he who knows? He could play four runner. That's four different styles right there.
Yeah.
Four different styles. So, I I wouldn't. Me personally, I would give him if I was the offensive coordinator, I'd give him a couple plays that he can run that his best plays and let him run
Right.
those plays. Give
Yeah.
Pringle some plays. Give Fletcher some plays. Give Marty some plays. That's four different guys you got to prepare for.
But in today's world,
I know what
where
you're
you
saying.
got to pay, where you got to pay these
I
guys,
know.
LT.
I know,
Like
man.
you got Mark Fletcher looking like he's gonna have to be coming back,
Yeah.
and that's looking likely. He didn't walk on senior day. I'm not sure with the injury and even in under
Yeah.
normal circumstances whether his NFL draft stock is going to be high enough to where it's not in his better interest to come back to Miami and get a good NIL deal for next year and be part of the offense next year. And now the merger of the Pringle, Marty Brown still has
Yeah.
eligibility. You're going to have freshmen coming in. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting how they manage that, and not just from the Mario standpoint and the collective standpoint, but how the players are going to make these decisions as well, because they have to decide early January. LT, this isn't like,
Yeah.
oh, geez, I'm going to go through spring practice and see where I stand. They got to make
Yeah.
a decision in early January. Where do I stand on this team? And
Yeah.
you tell me that. To me, that means you better be honest with yourself.
And let me tell you something, Gary. I think I alluded to this last week. It's crazy to watch the little GAs and everybody holding their players' hands as they walk across the field because they don't want the other team coaches to talk to them. It's crazy. Everybody's afraid, man. And a guy like, you got Jordan Lyle out there. You don't think NC State running back coach say, hey, man, you hella fired, boy. I love to have you over there. You know? And to watch
100%.
to watch the interactions. You got Gary, you gotta watch that, man. The little GAs they holding on for dear life and they're right up in the conversation. Like I watched the receiver from NC State say hello to Beard. The little GA was right there, like pulling him. And Beard was like, bro, I know the guy. I'm not trying to get the guy. I mean, he had a great game early in the season, but we ain't trying to get him, man. But the GA was so there was, there those
He was
South
like
Florida kids.
guarding them.
Yeah, like guarding him, man. It was crazy. It was like, come on, man. It's not like that. I've known that kid since he was a kid. But that GA was like, come on, man, let's go. We gotta go. We gotta go. Yeah, it is. And I'm pretty sure all over the country it's like that. Because how many times have we seen a guy go to a school where he balled out against the other school, the team that he's going to? He balled
Right.
out, whether it's a smaller school or a bigger school. He's balled out, and they said, "Hey, man, come on, we got that money for you." So it is. When you talk about this kid, Lyle, who he balled out in the beginning of the year against a couple teams. So who knows, man? They could be contacting him. I, I know.
The agents are already working.
Yeah,
LT,
yeah,
they're
they're
all
working it.
working
They're
behind
working.
the
Yeah, they're
scenes.
working it. Man, they got agents now, man. We didn't have that. I mean, they got agents. That is crazy. They
Yeah,
have
they're
agents
all
now.
they're all already working scouting out because the kid's got to make decisions. Do I stay where I'm at or do I go? And there's a lot
Yeah,
of guys on this Hurricane team,
yeah,
not just Jordan Lyle, that are going to have to make decisions in early
yeah,
January whether to put themselves in the portal, and
yeah.
it's going to be a very interesting time.
When Mario first got here, one of the things I said to him, I said, you know, in order for us to get back to where we might have been or once were, it happens with depth. You got to have depth. The only problem is, Mario, with this whole NIL thing, you can't build depth because guess
Hard.
what? That third guy that you're developing, maybe a freshman you're developing says, "Hey, man, we're gonna make you a starter for 200."
Right.
You don't think he's gonna leave? Hell yeah, he's gonna leave. So it's hard. It's almost, and the whole formula now is having that GM, because you got to slot these kids into different positions and be able to. We saw last year. I think they made a huge mistake. They didn't put enough money into the defensive backfield last year, and it paid and it showed. Right? They put it all up front. I think they kind of balanced it off and brought in some guys that they paid nicely, and it works out. You know what I mean? You got to be able to balance this thing off and not leave any position bare. Everybody needs that money, or you're gonna end up with some. You're gonna end up with a bunch of Florida State players. How about that?
Let's talk about Carson Beck for a minute here.
Right.
I thought he looked incredible the other night.
Yeah.
He was in a rhythm. He was throwing the ball well. His ball had velocity. He was on the money. Man, you just think back to that Louisville game, and you're just like, what the hell happened that night?
Yeah.
Because Carson Beck is capable of being a really effective quarterback in college football. And if Miami gets in the playoffs, I think he gives them a chance if he could play at the level he played the other night.
Well, was it? Let's see, what do you have? 291 and 3 touchdowns. But the thing is, for Carson Beck, man, he's like, I want to say he's like six in the country when he has a clean pocket.
Yes.
As long as he has a clean pocket, this guy is he's gonna kill you. It was an 83.5 pocket. It's clean. 6th among all QBs in the country. I mean, he is when he gets the time, when he doesn't feel rushed. So other teams are gonna have to try to figure out to add some pressure. Now, what we have seen, we got guys that have stepped up, and now with CJ coming back, Daniels coming back, we've had some receivers step up. We saw Joshua Moore last week. We saw Marion step up. Johnson is coming back. He was in the hospital for a couple of days. We had another receiver step up. In Johnson's absence, ran a nice screenplay 2 games ago. Little kid. But guys are stepping up, because my fear was in the beginning of the season, after a couple games, what if a team takes away Malachi Tony? What if a team says we're just going to double and see and bring pressure, and those other guys are going to have to make plays?
Yep.
Okay. Now, our coordinator has done a good job of moving Malachi around. Now you got him going in all these different directions. And I even saw a play where I can't think of the kid's name. Now, when I was talking about 2 games ago, he sprang on a quick screen because everybody was going towards Tony, and Tony was blocking.
Talking about Dalen Upshaw.
Yes, Upshaw. 2 guys he took out because they were all coming to Malachi. And Upshaw was able to get up there. So it's a good job by our coordinator being able to move him around. But those guys are stepping up now, and we need that. That's a long year. And I've said that it's a long year. And JoJo, he caught a nice pass last week. The reverse pass that he caught. I wish he would have stayed down the sideline, but he tried to cut back. But hey, it is what it is. But he made a nice play. So you got those guys stepping up, and it's showing that, okay, if you do take away Malachi, I think he had 54 yards. Other guys can step up and be successful. And for the upcoming game, that defensive backfield is miserable. They're not that good. So it could be a big day for our receivers.
Yeah, and you got to mention Keelan Marion. He's really moving up the draft charts from what I'm told. People have been very impressed with him the past several weeks, and the NFL has noticed. And he's probably working himself into. I'm not saying he's going to be a first-round pick, but he's working himself into a draft pick for sure.
I think it was 7 for 96, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 7 for 96. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, 7 for 96 in this game.
Yeah. And when you go to the other side, man, that Thomas kid, man, that defense, man, he had 2 picks. What about that first pick where he stepped in front of that pass and told CJ Bailey, "Come on."
It was great.
Come on. That was. I'm glad he didn't get a penalty.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was some old school stuff right
Those
there.
those two SEC defensive backs that they picked up in the portal, it was
Yeah.
the second portal window, and man, those are two of the best acquisitions of
Yeah.
the modern era of picking up players. And it's going to be interesting, LT, because this year now you don't have two portal windows; you have one portal
Yeah.
window,
One
and
window.
you're going to have to take a different approach to talent acquisition. I'm not quite sure yet what that approach is going to be. You got to kind of see it in action, but it's not going to be like, oh, you get to go through spring practice and reassess your team
Yeah.
and then go into a second portal window and start addressing those needs. You have to have the foresight now. Like the evaluations on your players are taking place right now,
Yeah.
and your conversations are going to have to take place in December and figure out who's going to the portal and who you need to replace. And then you got to be ready in January to hit the ground running on that thing. And it's
Yeah.
it's going to be an interesting time, but a challenge for Mario and his team to kind of adjust their processes internally towards acquiring players.
Well, here's the question I have for you, Gary. Is it is it is it a bad thing if you make the playoffs because you're having to struggle to
No.
make a game plan
Yeah.
and also try to recruit players?
Yeah.
Make
Well, the
the
good thing
right.
is they moved signing day up, Lamar.
Yeah.
Signing day
Okay.
is now December 2nd. So that,
Okay.
that'll help a little bit the teams in the playoff.
Yeah.
The teams that have conference championship games are going to be blowing their minds because they got to close their recruiting class while they're game planning for their conference championship games.
Good. Yeah.
So no, it's not a win-win for sure.
Yeah.
But like in the case of Miami, they've got 30 commitments right now. I think it's 30, 31. And recruiting's pretty much done. And they're buttoning it up here now. So the signing day, hopefully, is just going to be a formality of getting paperwork done, and the back office guys can handle that for the most part, and the coaches can coach.
Well, I tell you this: the thing that's getting squeezed out now is the high school kids
Yeah.
because you might be able to be fortunate enough to get a little bonus, get a little money in your pocket, but for the most part, it's gonna be hard, especially if you're bringing in some other players. So they kind of get squeezed out, but not all of them can be a Malachi Tony. So who will probably have to renegotiate. I would
No,
think.
there's no
Yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that one. I wouldn't mind being Malachi Tony's agent right now.
Yeah, buddy.
That one's gonna do some damage to the budget a little bit. LT, what do you think of Malachi Tony, the quarterback?
Okay, well, I mean, Gary, I saw the kid replace the 5-star quarterback Diabell, man,
Yeah,
and it wasn't like everybody was sad. I'm just saying. I mean, they looked at it like, okay, we on and running. I mean, and he did it with he wasn't mad about it. He went in there and did his thing. I mean, but I think maybe one incompletion this year, maybe. I
yeah.
think maybe
He
one time.
overthrew Pringle. He had another
Yeah,
walk-in touchdown
yeah,
that he could have had.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
I mean, the kid is a baller, man. I was I was so worried about could he take it? Could he make it through a years? And from everything I've heard, he has just been a joy to coach, a guy that carries himself like an upperclassman.
he does.
Um, and so he takes care of his body. Um, and he's a big part of this team. And to watch him on the sideline, to be around, to watch him, he doesn't look like a freshman, man. He's not wide eyed anymore. He is into it, and he's always around Beck. He's not too far from Beck. So uh, that's a great. I mean, that was to see him at quarterback. It gives every team once he goes in motion, they got to figure something out because they're like, okay, they're gonna throw it to him. Yeah, is he gonna throw it or is he gonna run it? And then if you say, okay, every time he goes in motion, we're going to converge on him. Well, guess what? How about they throw a play where they fake it to him when he goes in motion? Now they go to the other side. I mean, it can be a lot of different things where it's making you as a defensive coordinator have sleepless nights because the kid is explosive. We've used him, and now I think they're using him more because the imagination of the play calling is entirely different than just screens. It's some other stuff that they're throwing in there where they're moving them around and it's looking good, man. 2 games. Again. I know you guys out there, you're hearing the excitement in my voice because man, 2 games, man. We ain't seen this type of stuff, man. This year, man. Woo! It's been a little tough on the offensive side because you're just sitting there. Even Michael Irvin was speechless a couple times, and that don't happen much. He was coming to me, Lamar. I don't know what to say. I don't know either, Mike. I mean, but now, they've retooled some things. They're getting some new players and some new fresh blood, and they're doing some new fresh things. Kudos to our OC. He's doing well. I love it. I love it.
Yes, sir. All right, we're going to be joined by Brett Romberg in a moment, but first, let's hear from our friends at CaneSport.
Welcome to CaneSport. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSport has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. CaneSport, the spot Miami fans shop.
Yeah, guys, that holiday shopping season is coming very quickly, and there is no better place to make your hub, your headquarters for that, if you're a Canes fan, than CaneSwear, where they have just about everything you could imagine with a U logo. They have it. T-shirts, jerseys, polo, hoodies, hats, flags, decals, magnets, sizes for men, women, babies, pets. You name it, they have it at CaneSwear. And, CaneSwear, Lamar can attest to this because he goes there so often, but it's more than just a store. I mean, it's an experience, LT.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's an experience because it's packed with merchandise. I mean, merchandise from the time you come in. Hell, they got it outside the door. I mean,
They
merchandise
do.
everywhere. They keep it outside the door. I mean, they've done an outstanding job of just purchasing all kind of stuff. And it is a one-stop shop for any South Florida sports. I mean, they got it all. Not just the Hurricane stuff, but you got the soccer team, you got the baseball team, you got the Dolphins who won a couple games. They probably selling some merchandise now because they wasn't selling nothing early in the season. Let me tell you that. But I mean, they got it all. Who else? Oh, the Heat. They got some Heat stuff in there too. They got it all. It is
Miami,
a one-stop shop. Yeah, it's a one-stop shop for all your sports needs in South Florida. Go there. You'll enjoy your experience, and tell them LT sent you.
So 2655 South University Drive in Davie. If you can't make it to the store itself, you can go to caneswear.com 24/7, 365, and load up on Canes gear for yourself, your significant other, your kids, your pets, your friends, anybody you want to share the love of the U with, you can take care of at CanesWear. So 2655 South University Drive in Davie, or caneswear.com for all the greatest in Miami Hurricanes merchandise. And now we're going to bring in a guy that's been seen around town a little bit in some U gear. And that's our man, Brett Romberg. And there he is, decking out in the Adidas green. Brett, welcome back to the Lamar Thomas Show, man. How you been?
Awesome, man. I've been great. Thank you for having me back on. I love what you guys are doing, and there's no doubt about that when it comes to the CaneSwear. It's next level. Lamar, I don't know about you, but I've gotten to the point where I'm like collecting trinkets now, like ashtrays and little coffee mugs and like all kind of vintage stuff that's normally don't see on the shelves. So I like combing through that kind of thing.
I got all kind of stickers. I go there for all kind of stuff, man. You're right. Hey, Brett, man, it's something I'm reading. You won 35 of 37 games at UM?
Yeah, man. I lost my first and my last start. Yeah, it was the Washington game, and then me and Dorsey were together the whole time, bro. It was the first game against Washington up there, and then the last one against Ohio State.
Wow.
Yeah, spoiled.
I sit there and brag about only losing like 4 or 5 games, and you only lost freaking 2, man. That is
Trust me, those
amazing.
those two hurt, bro. Those
I
those
know.
two. You know what they say this, and it's very reflective on life. You know, football's a big metaphor of life, but
Mhm.
you really do remember the tough ones,
Yeah.
the ones that really scarred you. You know, you want a boatload of the games. Everybody always asks you about the victories and the wins,
Yeah.
and I feel like we're spoiled, and they came so often and so frequent that we forgot a lot about the wins, and the ones that unfortunately stick out. It's
Gotta
like
wait.
it's like bad news, man. It's
Yeah.
like bad news. You know, it just constantly pecks at you. So obviously, one was the Natty in Ohio against Ohio State there at the Fiesta Bowl, and the other one was going up to Washington. And to this day, I still say that probably the most hostile away place that I've played in was both the Seattle Seahawks Stadium
Hmm.
and University of Washington. It was just engineered properly. The
Yeah.
noise was
Wait,
insane.
I'm glad you said engineered properly. I say engineered like crowd noise pumping in that thing. Yeah.
Speakers, yeah,
Yeah.
engineered speakers. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So Brett, let me ask you this, man. Coming from Bell River High School in Ontario,
Yeah.
and I mean, winning the Remington Award and all that good stuff. Did you have any idea when you got down to Miami that all this stuff was going to or could happen?
Honestly, Lamar, no, man. I was and I you know what, I don't want to say that other guys felt the same way, but it was one of those. We were really bad. Like, I
Hmm.
came in after a 5-6 season, right?
Hmm.
So I came down here just because of how far it was on the map from my hometown. I didn't I to be honest, I never heard of the University of Miami. I didn't know nothing about it. Jesse Palmer was trying to get me to go to the Gators. I just was like, you know what? I'm just Jan 1. Yeah, man, I'm going to the Miami Hurricanes. And coming down here, it seemed like it was, you could tell they were trying to get rid of some of the bad blood, the bad
Hmm.
cancers, the
Yeah.
guys on the team that weren't repping the U, that weren't about team and camaraderie. And I think BD was just on the cusp. Butch Davis was on the cusp
Hmm.
of his recruiting class and that 3 or 4 year window that he had. And the guys that were parking on the field, showing up late to class and late to practice, it just, the unaccountability, I guess you could say, that became obsolete. Tommy Moffitt, Swayze,
Hmm.
those guys just, we spent more time with Andrew Swayze and Tommy Moffitt than we spent with anybody my first 2 years. Like, it was the game changer. Like, it really was the game changer. Total different philosophy in the weight room, extremely competitive, man. I imagine it just reflected back in the day when you guys were there.
Hmm.
You know, it seemed like it almost skipped a generation or two, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
What the U's about, and the passion and the love for the program, and the competition that we created within each other. So long story even longer, yeah, man, it was guys like young guys like me, Santana, Ed Reed, all these cats, Joaquin. We're all young and we're all
Yeah.
hungry as hell, wanting to play football. And whether it was waiting your turn or learning from the guy in front of you, it was just head down, hard work paid off. And we literally did not see anybody but, for lack of a better term, but color on the other side of
Yeah.
the football. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't about names,
Yeah.
players, positions. It was just another jersey on the other side that we just wanted to annihilate. Simple.
When did you? So when you got there, you said that you really didn't know anything. When did you kind of realize the culture at the University of Miami? The you see these older guys come around, and you're like, what the hell? When did you kind of realize you had gotten yourself into something that was pretty grand, man?
That was way
Yeah.
bigger than Brett
Yeah.
Romberg could even
Yeah.
imagine. It was walking the halls and seeing the names of the guys that I grew up as a kid in Canada watching play football.
Wow.
And once I saw those names and I said, those guys were here. Oh my, it was a game changer for me. So again, I came here blind. Like, I didn't
Right.
know. I didn't know this was Ray Lewis's and Warren Sapp's school. I didn't know that this was Bernie Kosar. I didn't know it was Vinny Testaverde. I didn't know it was Jim Kelly's school. I had no clue. And then once I saw those guys donning our uniform, I was like, oh, hell no. No, no. Things got to step up now. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lineage here, there's a pride here, there's a family cocoon here that I found out on that first game on the sideline at the Orange Bowl. I was like, holy smokes, man, this is what it's about. It was guys hitting you on the helmet, patting you on the back. Man, can't wait for you to get off the field. There was like 10 Michael Irvings. Like, I know we got Michael now, but there was about 10 of those cats on the
Mhm.
sidelines when we were playing back in the day, just waiting to be part of and get a piece of us.
I'm glad we got we've had a guy on the show who's a terrible center. I'm Kelvin Harris, but to have you on the show, man, this is some real good stuff, man. This is some real good stuff because you actually blocked for um 3,000 yard rushers, James Jackson, Clinton Portis, and Willis McGahee. And
Yeah.
and you, like you said, you're with Ken Dorsey the whole time. I mean, what was that like? I mean, those guys in the backfield, they all had different styles. Did you change anything to block for certain guys, or was it? Or did you know?
Well, CP used to take us to Ruby Tuesdays for the salad bar once in a
Oh
while.
yeah,
So
oh that'll get some.
CP took care of us a little
Yeah,
bit. You know, Willis
that'll
was
get some
still.
blocking. That'll get some blocking going.
Oh, you better believe it, bro. He used to walk up and down the sideline talking about if I go for 100, you guys go to Tuesdays to get that salad bar. So, and he was a character in itself. To be honest with you, what really built us in the O line room, because I can't speak about the other rooms, but in the O line room, it was eating chicken kitchen at 8:30 at night, catching up and doing film, and 14 or 15 dudes that are there, including walk-ons.
Mm,
Like that was back in the day when Chicken Kitchen had the styrofoam containers. You used to put
yeah,
some sugar on it.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And some of
Oh
the
yeah.
baked beans, they don't have the baked beans anymore, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Back
Oh
in the day
yeah.
when it was awesome. And it was one of those things where like guys like trying to keep their eyes open. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
tired from a long day, but
Yeah.
still in the film, especially like those VTech, Florida State, Boston College, even Pitt. Like some of those games, man, we're there grinding. And obviously, Butch Davis is cracking the whip from the top, making these coaches make sure we understand our game plan. But we wanted to be there. Half the time, the coaches left, and we were just sitting there, man. And half the time BSing, cracking on each other, having a great time. But we're being productive and we're getting things done.
You know, as you look, if you look over the last couple of years, um, we've had some on years and a lot of off years.
A lot of off.
And I want to speak on the O line, and then
Mhm.
we'll talk about team wise. I mean, what do you think has been the biggest difference on why the O line has started to be successful recently than the previous years? Why do you
And
think
I,
they?
I get it. I get it. And you know what? I even sat and pondered this question because obviously, if you're telling me that the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line coach coached us for a nice period of time, golly, man, like how the hell are they winning Super Bowls and we can barely win 7 or 8 games? You know what? Like there's
Yeah,
just some kind of disconnect there.
yeah,
So whether it was from the top where the accountability wasn't there, like for instance, I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but like our Johnny Manziel that we had on our team, the transfer from Ohio State a couple years back with Manny, that cat screwed his teammates over so many
yeah,
times, leaving to be with his
yeah,
girlfriend,
yeah,
getting away for Thanksgiving, and then
yeah.
Manny just opening the doors for him, allowing him back in. Nobody whooping his ass when he got in the locker room.
Mm,
Nobody stomping him out. You know what I mean?
mm,
Stealing his stuff, taping his
mm,
keys up, throwing him in
mm.
the ice tub, like nothing,
I used to
zero.
call it
So
a country club.
Hey, hey,
I'm telling you, it
wait,
really
wait,
it
wait,
was it
wait,
was
wait, wait,
mind-boggling to me.
Hold on, Rom. For you guys that don't understand, I think it's past the, we can't get in trouble for that, but yeah, these
The
things
statute,
happen.
the statute of
Yeah,
limitations
statute.
have been
Yeah,
up.
these things happen. We saw a guy, a punter, get his bike burned, the tires
Oh
and every
yeah,
goddamn thing because he had bad punts. So
yeah,
there's some things that happen to players inside that locker room back in the day. But I want to go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but just want
yeah.
to
You
let you
get
know.
your ass whooped with your own cleats. Like they would grab your own cleats, choke you out, and whoop your ass, pull your pants down, and spike you out. Absolutely.
Spike you
And
out.
don't you dare sit on the couch if you're a freshman. There were just
Oh,
so many rules that you abided by out of respect, out of history, and it just created such accountability for each
yeah,
other. Like I can't say that word enough for the young kids out there that are in high school, held Pop Warner, whatever it is. It's being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, and having the guy next to you not worrying about you doing your job because you take care of your business and letting him focus on his job. Whether it's life, whether it's football, again, one of those like metaphorical things that transfer over. But just being accountable to yourself and your teammates is so imperative. But that was one of the biggest things that Butch basically and put on the team, to be honest with you. It's just no babysitting, no BSing around. We're not here to go ahead and take care of your kids. Like get your crap done. Like get it done, go to class, see if you can pass the mother scruncher. If you can't, it is what it is. We'll figure it out later on. But make sure you're accountable to your teammates.
And for you being one of those guys that was like a captain, we didn't have captains like that, but we had guys that spoke up. And
Mhm.
the thing that I loved about once I was able to become one of those guys, you had to make sure you were doing the right shit too, because they call
Yep,
your ass out. It
absolutely.
was everybody was in this thing to win it. And you tell the guy, hey man, you ain't working hard enough, and he might come back with some shit that he saw 2 weeks ago.
Yep. And it
That's
and
how.
it started in the summer, Lamar. You know
Oh
this.
yes, the
Like
summer
it
man.
wasn't even
Woo.
during the season stuff was
Nah.
like it wasn't even a question. It wasn't even
Yep.
a question. The stuff where it started was in June and July when there's nobody on campus. It's 4 million
Mm-hmm.
degrees outside. You're throwing up and sometimes shitting all over yourself. You're
Yep.
trying to run off between your 45-second break to go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
get in the corner and get something out, and then
Yep.
hurry up and your hand better be back on that line, or else you're costing your teammates another
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 reps, and then you get your ass whooped.
And it was no going home for the summer.
Like that, there's just like I've heard stories of Albert Hainsworth getting smoked in the middle of his football field by Big John Henderson because he didn't want to finish his 110s. Like stuff like that happened.
Losing.
Unbelievable. It really it's again, and I don't want to be the old man, get off my lawn. It's a total different era, total different mindset, total different time of playing football right now. And it's frustrating, and people have to be patient with the old heads because we're frustrated watching this. You saw Mike explode. Like
No, yeah.
Mike had enough. Like Mike took it to everybody, like talking about, never caught a ball behind the line of scrimmage. I encouraged violence. I was catching balls when guys were getting killed over the middle. And then people are talking about he's not fast and all this stuff, and he couldn't play in our day. Like, I don't think he would want to play in our day, to be honest with you. He wouldn't want to because it just doesn't seem like football to a lot of us. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
seems too schematic, X's and O's, and a little bit of soft as baby shit kind of things going on the football field.
So, what do you really think about what you've been seeing so far this season, Brett? Let's talk
Well,
about
okay. So we'll continue
2025.
on to that. However, and I do see the change in the offensive line. Granted, it
Yeah.
did take a few years, going back full circle here, what
Mm-hmm.
Lamar was asking me. Um, and again, it comes from a guy who's about 4'6" and about 113 pounds coaching him, which is totally contradictory of what you're thinking of an offensive line coach would look
Yes.
like. But
Yes.
he's an ankle biter, man. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
relentless, he's intense, he's serious, he's
Mm-hmm.
methodical. He knows exactly how to speak to certain players on the team. Like you got a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", and sometimes you have to talk nice to him. Like contradictory to a lot of people's beliefs and thoughts, that dude might have something going on inside of him where he might have got picked on as a kid when he was about 8 or 9 years old because he was 4 times bigger than everybody. So he might have a complex. So heaven forbid you make a fat joke about that kid, and then all of a sudden he starts
Trigger.
retracting and going back into his shell. So like coaches need to be almost like, psychiatrists nowadays, to be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Yeah.
to understand these kids. So he's got that element as well. So it's not just barking and physical intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely thought out, methodical, smart. I wouldn't call it cosmic, but the way that he can take Polynesian kids from the West Coast, know how to talk to them, talk to
Mm-hmm.
hood kids from down here in South Florida, from the inner cities, go up north, some of them white kids in the Midwest, some corn-fed buggers that are just monsters too. Like he knows how to talk to all of them, and I feel like Kehoe had a lot of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not as much X's and O's knowledge as Alex, but similar in being relatable to the kids.
Yeah. 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 So we had earlier in the year where I was and I even called you. I called the centers. I talked to Kevin Harris. I talked to you. Because I was going to center therapy. I
No,
was
you
I,
figured it out. That's what you
I
did. You figured it
yeah
out.
I just sat there and I saw the fronts and I'm like, okay, this is a bare front. They got this guy right over that center,
Yep.
right over that center, and he is pushing him back. And I said
Yep.
that might be the reason why we can't do a lot of things, Mister. Like a counter or pulling the guard because he's getting pushed back. And then I saw the running backs. As soon as they touch the ball, they jump cut. Okay,
Yep.
so bare front. When that guy's over you, what's the most important thing? Well, obviously it's a snap, but what is the most important thing for you when that guy is straight over you in the zero?
I was strong and I was
Mm-hmm.
short and I had leverage and I
Mm-hmm.
was quick. I know I did a lot of MMA stuff, so I was good with
Mm-hmm.
my hands. I was able to do that and manipulate. But my
Okay.
thing was I had to get to a corner, a side, something, and pitter patter, like put 1 foot in and 1 foot in immediately in the ground, because the minute you hang your 1 foot up, like a lot of centers, they'll snap the football, and as they're snapping, you could see their leg off the ground or one of their feet off the ground. And if you're caught in the air like that, you're going backwards no matter what. Like, it's just not happening. So it's a matter of digging your toes in the ground, especially when you got a nose breathing down your throat, and finding a way to get your hand on him first and find some sort of angle and pray to God that your guards are smart enough to come and help you, especially these two monsters we got, right?
Yeah.
So you're at a disadvantage, because if you think about it, the propulsion that you're bringing the ball backwards, it's almost like you're moving backwards with the ball, but you're also trying to gain ground and go forward and establish the line of scrimmage. So it's a very tough thing, but they'll say all the time, a stalemate is a victory at the center position, especially when you're dealing with a nose guard. And then if you get your guy coming in and pushing on that guy's hip, he's going down immediately, like guaranteed. Wherever his center of gravity is, for the boys, you're looking at, right around that hip, that top hip bone. And if that guard comes down and puts his arm, his forearm, his hand, and pushes that guy out of the way, he's rolling, he's gone. And I just usually fall on top of him and make it look like I got the pancake. But yeah, it was. I've noticed that too, man. But it's 100% true. It'll screw up your snap.
Yeah.
It makes the read so horrible and too early for the running back. And a lot of the time, especially on a pass rush, if you're doing a 3-step drop, your quarterback's getting jitters. And these kids nowadays, some of the nose guards got arms like as long as Brian McKinney's arms, and they're able to go ahead and reach over and grab them and scare them and maybe flash them, or that kind of thing. So it's you need to establish your ground and put your feet in the ground and establish your line of scrimmage.
Sometimes it seems as though coaches, and let's say in this kid's case, he's not the biggest guy, right? But there's a guy that's behind him that's a bigger guy. But because he can make all the calls, you got to go with the guy who, you know what I'm saying?
That's important, man. That's really important. Like, imagine I get in and I become the Rams center, and I got like OGs like Orlando Pace on the edge, and like Adam Timmerman or Adam Zimmerman or Zimmerman, yeah, Adam Zimmerman, guy that won greatest show on turf guy, and then I had my boyfriend Richie Incognito on my other side, and half the time, you got to tell that moron what to do anyway. So Richie, he's a point guy. You just point to wherever he's supposed to go, and he'll destroy it. Orlando Pace, I used to be able to talk back and forth to Big O, and I would see like whatever the safeties or however they were rocking and rolling stuff, or wherever the Mike linebacker was positioned, or even as far as I'd be able to see how his defensive end was standing. I would find ways to predict the blitzes, and being knowledgeable like that. Understanding your offense is easy. I found that really easy understanding your job. It's when you know what the other side is doing and knowing why they're reacting the way they're reacting, or anticipating the minute that they see a certain lineup or a certain package that comes in or certain formation that we're giving. They only have 2 options usually, because they're too stupid to figure out 3 or 4 options. So 1 or 2 of the options is going to happen. If you get 1 or 2 reads off of what you're looking at, by the time you're getting ready to go ahead and get in your cadence and snap the football, you already know what blitz is coming. So it was just all communication. And don't tell me that the Hard Rock is rocking. So we could talk back and forth, especially on offense. You know what I mean? So you're able to talk back and forth and predict things. So the more that center can orchestrate like a quarterback would, it makes things a lot easier for those big boys. A lot easier.
Well, not just for you guys, because I can tell you this. I played with a guy, Tim Ruddy, with the Dolphins.
Oh,
He wasn't
yeah.
the biggest guy, but man, he knew all the calls, and sometimes he would alert you to blitzes. And it's amazing that you guys can see all that coming. The real smart centers. Now, Kelvin Harris, he couldn't see that shit. First of all, he's blind, I think, in one eye, and he might be deaf like Simonetta in another ear. But anyway, I mean, guys like yourself, to be able to tell us where the blitz is coming from, that's.
Oh yeah, because you're breaking off your routes and you're replacing that hole right there, and bam, you get that 2-step, you got that ball, and you're going. Now you're athlete.
Yes, sir.
Now you're letting that athlete work. Absolutely.
Man, I mean, I see why you won all those awards. You've been able to do all that type of stuff, and on that line you had in college.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, shit, man.
Yeah.
You got it. I mean, that was.
Goddamn, Bibla looks like he's still playing, man. He still looks like Brock Lesnar. I think he's got 23-inch arms, 22-inch arms. He's a state trooper. I think he's still running out Penn State. I think he got that gig. He's like the Hudak of Penn State right now.
Hudak of Penn State.
But the dude is a monster, and he's just breeding monster kids too. His boys are monster. He'll come to your house, and he'll eat you at a house and home, and he just starts buying loaves of bread and pounds of lunch meat. And he makes his kids polish off like 4 sandwiches a day, just to have like extra carbs and stuff in him. He's a nut. And then
Yeah.
Joaquin, again, you're dealing with a guy who is
Yeah.
super intelligent,
Yeah.
basically like another quarterback center on the outside part on the right side. McKinney, I'm not going to say McKinney was an academic All-American or anything, but he showed up when the game was a monster. I'll put it to you that way. He was in the film room against the Syracuse Freeneys and the Florida
Yes.
States and all that crew. So, we were good. And then we
Yeah.
all were on the same page. So when I called something, Kenny knew immediately what was going to go on. If Kenny called something, there was really only one voice that really happened, whether it was mine or it was his when we were playing,
Right.
and we were all on the same page because if we made a mistake, we're all making the same mistake. So it's going to get either picked up together or we're all on the same page of where the hot read's coming from. So again, trusting the guy beside you, trusting that your guy knows what he's doing and not having to worry if he's going to be able to pick up his assignment. That's a giant portion of our success too.
So today, the CFP, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there's a lot of shit going on. I mean, you got whether we fucking made the
That's a good way to put it.
playoff.
Good.
It's a lot. It's like a pot of gumbo around that bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. I mean, what's your take on any of it? I mean, hell, where you start?
You know what? I'm gonna sound like a coach so bad right now, and I hate doing this, but if we handle our business,
There you go.
we handle our business, and I'm not
Yeah.
talking about close game against VTech, and I'm not talking about a neck and neck to the wire game against Pitt. We need to beat Pitt down. Like I want a physical. We haven't beat them physically in I don't know how many goddamn years.
Been a
Like
long time.
we've gotten our ass whooped a bunch of times going up there around turkey time. You know what I mean? So we need to beat them at least by a touchdown. At least by a touchdown. I'd love a touchdown. The field goal would be awesome for me. And then once we convincingly handle our business, I do believe once they get that pool together, because I heard it explained today about how they're grouping teams that are similar in terms of their ranking, and then they'll look at them as a 3 or 4 or 5 team unit and find out if they've done the head to head that they will give the benefit of the head to head to the team that won. That's intriguing to me. So moving forward, these kids can't pay attention to that crap, and it's hard to say, especially if you're a player, you're looking at that stuff, and trust me, the coaches are looking at it more than the players are. The way that they keep going about talking about it, so it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
But these boys need to just put their head down, and then I don't know when was the last time they went to go play the Hokies up in their place around Thanksgiving, gobble gobble. Everybody's wearing their hunting gear, so it's all orange and
Been a few
camo.
years.
Yeah, it's been and that Sandman now, man. That place rocks, dude. And especially around drunk Thanksgiving time, that's gonna be a spot, right? So and then going all the way back up to Pittsburgh, like in the cold weather too, hopefully, so we've had our stumbles up there a few times. So they need to take care of if they look like the way that they looked like the last game and then the second half of the week before that. I think we're going to be fine, but I would love it with a more chip on the shoulder this time against going there was a big animosity game with Mario and that head coach. Like not only were the players fighting on that field, those two coaches wanted to get a piece of each other, and what my man did to disrespect Michael Irvin like that. I hope Mike sent him a nice little note. Like you don't do that. You're just trying to get on TV, bro. Come on, man. You might get smoked. Yeah, don't come down to South Florida. Yeah, exactly. Mike had to be PC on that one. He saw the camera was on. So it needs to be one of those games where not only are the coaches pissed off for getting their ass whooped a couple times up there now, the players man, I need to see. I'm not necessarily looking for offensive linemen to win the Heisman and trickery and tomfoolery. I'd love to see just power O's, slants, out routes, a couple screens, ripping zones, giving Beck an opportunity, separating safeties and linebackers, finding little pockets, Tony's going to be running all over the damn field. He's probably going to get double covered. So pop it over to zero. Throw it over to zero, bro. That guy, I think, is just as special as Tommy this year. Like he might not get all the perfume on him, but my man's putting in work. He's strong. I'm happy about him. I love that guy. Love watching him catch a football. He'll rip that thing out of anybody's arms. I love the aggression. It's like Reggie Wayne and Santana Moss all over again to me. That's what it reminds me of, to be honest with you.
Man, you
got me sweating over here, bro.
Yeah.
I'm getting worked up thinking about. You better put me in a goddamn duffel bag. Equipment manager, whoever's watching, equipment manager, put me in that goddamn duffel bag and throw a helmet on me. I'll give you one series, and that's it. I'll give you one series.
One series. Shotgun or under center? What you want? Oh,
I
tush
like to
push.
get. He's got to get one under center. I got to feel his hands one time. Come on now.
One time.
I got to let him touch it one time.
Hey, one question before you go. Okay. And we appreciate you being on tonight. The tush push
Yeah,
for the center. I mean, what
incredible.
you
I could
like?
never do it. I don't think I could do that stuff. You know who started doing that crap? And ironically, R.I.P. Nick Mangold. Mangold used to do that with his nose guard being Jenkins. Jenkins, Big Jenk was his nose guard up there. And during camp, he would root freaking Jenkins out. I played against Jenkins when he was with Carolina. That
Right.
dude's a monster.
He's a
Like,
monster. Yeah.
no, I wouldn't be able to do that. There's a picture that I have, and it's like Dan Morgan in front of me as the middle linebacker. Davis is the other linebacker, and Jenkins is on the nose on me, and Julius Peppers is over
Julius
on the side.
Peppers.
Julius
Wow.
Pep is like, Pep is
Yeah.
a monster as
Yeah,
is.
he's a monster. Yes.
He's a freak, absolute freak. And then Jenkins, like I'm snapping the ball, and I think Jenkins' ass is he hasn't even like stood up yet, and it's almost at my chest. And I'm like, there's no way I could have done the tush push. No, it's impossible. And I kudos, kudos to Jason Kelsey for being able to do that. Because that little bastard, I think he's smaller than me. So
Wow.
that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Wow. Well, man, I got to tell you, man, it's always been enjoyable to have you on the show. You are a star, one of the best centers to ever play the game at the University of Miami, uh, and a great person. And I
Appreciate
appreciate
you,
you
man.
coming
Thank
on,
you.
man.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you. Thank you.
coming
Thanks for
on,
coming.
and let's go Canes, brother. Let's go
Hell
Canes.
yeah, man. Let's get another dub this weekend. Come back, have a nice little plane ride, maybe sip on some scissor, bring something back from the early 2000s, and then get ready to rock and roll and do it all over again. One more week.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
brother. All right, man. Love you,
All right.
brother.
All right. Take care, fellas. Have a
Thanks,
great
Brett.
night. You got
He's funny as
Entertaining,
hell.
dog. He is very entertaining, and he's man. I would have loved to have been in the huddle with those guys, man. I mean, not taking anything from my huddle, but those guys, man, that was a hell of offensive line. We had a good offensive line, but that line there was special, really special, really special.
All right, LT, let me get back to let's just close the book on the offense, and then we'll talk a little bit about the defense. But Elijah Lofton got a touchdown pass this week.
Yeah, man. It took a while. It took a while.
It came out of nowhere. I mean, I thought he was the third progression, but Shannon Dawson told me he was the second. But he was isolated over there on the right side of the field, and Carson Beck finally got to him. And he caught the ball this time after a few drops this year, and he got his touchdown. And I noticed afterward, when he got back to the bench, one of the first people that came up to him was Luke Nickel. And I'm thinking Luke Nickel wants to make sure Elijah Lofton stays in this program and doesn't get frustrated. So he was giving him some words of encouragement because this season has not gone according to plan for that guy. But it was just nice to see him have a moment there against NC State.
Yeah, I can tell you this. He had two other drops, but he had the touchdown. And during that time, when the decision, there was a look of concern on his face. Finally, he had gotten into the end zone, and when it came back that it was a catch, a touchdown, the look of relief, over his face, of almost like thankfulness that he finally was able to make a play this season. Here's a guy that is coming to this season, and we've heard it time and time again from Mario and the offensive coordinator about what a special player he is, but we just haven't seen it. And you get down there. I heard somebody say, I thought this guy was bigger. I heard a fan say, I thought that guy was bigger. He's not that big. He may be like a 6'2". He might have been like Sapp, built like Sapp when he got there. But he's not a big tight end, but he's a guy that's versatile. You can put him in the backfield, as a fullback, a tight end, spread him out as a receiver, and it just has not been his year as far as what we thought it might have been. So it was very great to watch him finally get in there. And I saw a lot of his teammates, not just Luke, a lot of his teammates were congratulating him, man, because it's been a frustrating year for him. So to maybe that might be the spark that he needs to get back on track to where we we thought he could be.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that's been out there for practices and stuff in the spring and
Yeah.
summer and fall understands what this kid is capable of, and it's just been so weird the way this season has gone. I mean, I think that he's not a great fit for this offense. He's not a pure tight end. He's more of an H-back, a guy that you move around. And for him to be effective, Lamar, I've been thinking a lot about this year because I've been taking a lot of abuse on our website because I was pumping Elijah Lofton up a lot, and justifiably so. And in watching this whole thing evolve, like it just seems to me like if you're not scheming it up for him, that he's not gonna achieve to his capabilities. And you don't ever want to see anybody leave. They're recruiting extremely well at tight end. They just got a commitment from a monster kid yesterday. I love the Luka Gilbert kid that's there, Bruckshot, that potentially could be a good H-back. I mean, they got guys, and they'll continue to be able to recruit guys. I just wonder if Elijah Lofton isn't better off going somewhere where the offense will be built around him because he has special talents. I think about places that do it, LT, like a Wake Forest does that kind of stuff. A guy like Elijah Lofton at Wake Forest would get 6 catches a game.
Yeah.
Because they don't have all the weapons.
And Louisville could in Brom's offense he could make those are places like that. It's just that in this offense, you think about the guy like Arroyo. He was different than Lofton because he was in the game a lot. You didn't know if he was blocking or running the route. I mean, you kind of know when he comes in, they're not running towards him.
I mean, Arroyo was a prototypical tight end.
Yes.
It almost would have been malpractice not to use him some.
Yes.
And even he just scratched the surface here of what he was capable of. I mean, he could have done so much more, but he was so good that you'd be crazy to not use him a lot. Well, now you got a lot of guys here that you're going to go to first before you probably get to Lofton in this particular offense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, Gary, I mean, I hope that that either you change it next season where you accentuate his talents and he has to do his part too. See, that's the problem. And maybe this year coming into it, they might have had a lot of stuff for him. But when you have some drops and you're just not making the plays and it's just not going well, you got to go away from it. And I think that's where they were.
No question.
That's where they were. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. We talked earlier in the show about some of the difficult decisions that are coming up in the portal on both sides, players, coaches, and hard decisions have to be made on some things. And this is probably on the list. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. All right, we've been talking so much offense tonight, LT. Let's not neglect the defense.
Right.
I thought that was one of their most, maybe their most dominant performance of the season the other day. And I've heard so much. NC State sucks. NC State sucks. And they're poo-pooing what they saw on Saturday at the Rock. But like NC State put 45 on Georgia Tech and beat them, and they're the only team that has this year. And they came in on a high to Hard Rock Stadium. CJ Bailey was fired up. It was a homecoming for him. You probably had 100 people in the stands there to watch him. And man, the Miami defense stepped up. They did not give him a chance. LT, it wasn't until the second and third teamers were in at the end of the game that NC State even crossed midfield. Your thoughts on what we saw from defense?
Well, I mean, it was a domination. They, you look at only giving up 23 yards of rushing, and most of that was at the end. You got the one running back who decided to come back. I know he wished he'd have stayed out that game because he didn't do anything. And the other guy that was kind of like a Fletcher guy, he didn't get anything. It was a total domination. I think 129 yards, 120 yards passing. And a lot of that was at the end, 149 yards total. And time of possession. We've been the time of possession national champion. We're going for it. But 36 minutes to 23. I think they had 2 turnovers. We had 1. it was a total butt kicking. Our defense played well. Uh, our D line did their thing. I think our linebackers played well, but the secondary, I was very impressed with our secondary. Those guys filling in, getting some playing time. Let's see, who do we have? I wrote down a couple of names. You had Xavier Lucas, obviously Jacoby Thomas, who graded out at 97.9 in PFF grade. That's a good grade for a safety, man. That's really good. Um, Xavier Lucas, Ethan O'Connor, and we looks like we're gonna get Frederick back. I mean, our secondary is playing well. I put down about Keontae Scott. I guess that it come out yet? Is he done for the year,
I
or is
think he's
he
done. They haven't said for sure, but it's not looking very good.
okay? Well, even with that, you got some guys, a lot of guys stepping up, and when your D line is playing well. When your D line is playing well and they're getting after that quarterback, they're forcing throws, errant throws, they're forcing quick passes, and guys are stepping up behind them. That's a good thing. That is a really good thing. And now we're seeing everything kind of come together because those guys got to get rid of football. Bailey couldn't sit back there and try to throw that long out route or wheel route or whatever he threw for that interception because guess what? He had to get rid of it. Then on the interception, the other interception across the middle to Thomas, he had a guy coming across and he didn't see Thomas come down in the robber position in the center of the field and threw it right to him. So, I mean, but that was because of pressure. Pressure was coming up the middle, pressure was coming on the side. He had to get rid of it. So these guys are playing extremely well. And I'm not trying to take anything from the last year's guys, but the pressure that is being put on these guys, they might not have the numbers they should have, the great numbers, but if you look at pressures, they're really making it happen and making quarterbacks get rid of the football. You know what I mean? And those guys last year, for some reason, on the back end, just couldn't get the job done. So kudos to the defensive coordinator, our new defensive coordinator coming in, letting those guys play fresh and free. We put money in the back end, just like we did the front end and those linebackers. So it is a solid defense that is playing well, probably in the top 5 in the country. I think 14.3 points they're giving up, 25 sacks. I mean, they're playing well. Playing well.
I thought the tackles had their best game of the year on Saturday. They were outstanding. And it's a testament to Damian Lewis and the job that he's doing coaching those kids. You can see.
Let me tell you something. And he might be the most important acquisition this year because he brings something to that coaching staff or that defensive side. I mean, yeah, we got the coordinator, but this guy was he coached in the league. And so now he's helping the defensive coordinator understand how they do it in the league. This ain't Minnesota. This is a guy who coached in the league. And along with Jason Taylor, that is a great combination they got. From what I've seen, Damon speaks a lot in those meetings, and I think he might be the best acquisition that we have as far as
that nobody really thinks about.
Yeah, that nobody thinks about. Yes, he's old school. He can get in those kids' face, and they don't say a word because they know he means well, and they trust him. And he doesn't shy about getting in their face either. And no one says a thing because those kids respect him.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to watch. All right, LT, let's take a moment here and talk a little bit about the ACC and the college football playoff. Let's start with the ACC. And so many people have been debating all year. Do you even care about winning the ACC? Does it matter? All you care about is the playoff. My thing is, hell yeah, you care about the ACC. Miami's never won the damn thing. You know. And it's not like, we're sitting here taking ACC championships for granted. And if you're not looking to win the conference, then what the hell are you playing the games for? I mean, and I know some people would prefer just, go right to the playoff. But Georgia Tech right now has the cleanest path to get to Charlotte. Yeah. They just have to beat Pittsburgh. Miami needs Pittsburgh to beat Georgia Tech. Okay, So Miami fans, if they care about this, are going to become Pittsburgh fans. on Saturday. Virginia, they have the easiest path to Charlotte because they win a lot of the tiebreakers. So they just have to beat Virginia Tech at the end of the year, and they're definitely in. But even if they happen to lose that game, which they won't most likely, they still have a lot of pathways through the tiebreakers. So they're looking pretty decent. SMU has to beat Louisville and Cal, and then hope that one or both of Pittsburgh and Virginia take a loss. Okay, so they're a little bit more complicated. Duke is still alive. They got to beat North Carolina this week and Wake Forest next week, but they can't win a tiebreaker against Virginia. So they need Pitt to beat Georgia Tech, and then they have to and then have Pitt lose to Miami next week, and then that would open the door for Duke to take one of the two spots because they can't win a tiebreaker with Virginia. Miami needs all this stuff to happen. They need Pitt to win at Georgia Tech, and then they need to beat Pitt. And then they also need, depending on what happens with the other things. And the funny thing is, in the SMU Louisville game, you don't even know who you're cheering for because there's a scenario where Miami benefits from each team winning, depending on what happens with the other teams. So, but the cleanest path is for SMU to lose to Louisville and both Louisville and Cal. That would eliminate the head-to-head loss, and then Miami could get in with Georgia Tech loss to Pittsburgh and Duke losing either one of its couple games. So I don't think it's looking so great for the Canes to go to Charlotte.
That's a lot, Gary. That's a lot.
It's a lot. So for the sake of the sanity of the people listening to this show, let's talk college football playoff now, because that's a little bit cleaner. You just need teams in front of you to lose, and you got to win. And but LT, it's just crazy the way so many people around the country are fighting this thing out on Miami's behalf. You go on social media, it's insane. I can't believe it. I mean, I've never seen people on a national level fighting for the Miami Hurricanes before.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. It's a very interesting take, Gary, because I too went on social media and I was like, damn. I would have thought that people would have been like, oh, well, Notre Dame, Notre Dame this. And a lot of people are coming to our saying, hey, what are you playing the game for if it doesn't matter? Head to head, we lost to Florida State. Okay, we lost to Florida State in '89. We lost to them. They beat our ass, right? But they had two losses. So if it would have come down to it, if we'd have had two losses, they would have had if they would have had one loss, it would have been different. But the thing was, it was a head-to-head game, and we would just had to take that. But my point is, we beat you in a head-to-head. That has to be
overriding. That should be number one.
I don't care if it was the first game or the last game or the middle game. You lost. That has to be a factor in that. I mean, in every other scenario, when you look at conference championships, head-to-head is up there, right?
Yep.
So why should it be in college football playoffs?
I think the key for Miami in terms of the Notre Dame is you got to get within one or two spots of them, and then make them make that decision.
Well, you got to take care of your business. Most importantly, you got to go out and you got to beat Virginia Tech. You got to beat them. You got to beat them good. And then you go to Pitt and win a game. If you can win by more than 10, that's even better. You win by 15, 20, that's great. But most importantly, you got to win. And if you win, you at least give yourself a chance. None of this is even worth fighting or arguing about if you don't win. At least you give yourself a chance.
What do you think of the system, LT? Just the system that we're working under today.
Man, it's just I'm kind of glad it's not that computer shit. Because you can't beat up the computer. You can't catch them in the parking lot and whoop their ass. You can just unplug them. But this whole thing, I think a lot of it comes down to money, man. Unfortunately, this whole thing is, I think the bottom line is, you look at rankings in the beginning of the season, it's who the best matchups to get the most viewers. And we got one conference that they have to have the better, they have to have the most people in there because they make the most money. So you know, it's it's going to go to, I think, more teams at some point. But then you kind of mess with, unlike basketball, you can't. Basketball, you can play a game and you can literally play a game in the beginning of the week and you can play one at the end of the week, right? Or 2 3 days. In football, you can't do that. So this thing could stretch out. And the more teams, you either cut teams down, cut the regular season games down to maybe 10,
Mhm.
so you can add more playoff weeks, because or you keep them things going to damn near you you get 1 week off and then you go right into spring practice. I don't know. I mean, it is a this is some weird stuff. I mean, it's just, you know, it's going to come down to people voting. It's going to come down to them. I'm glad they have some type of system in place where they're saying, like you said, they're going to take each group and put each team in different groups and then decide from that point. Because we, as viewers, we want to know the process. We want to know the
I love the
process.
transparency. We
Yeah,
may not agree with a
transparency.
lot of what they're saying, and most people don't. Like everyone's
Yeah,
got different opinions, but I do love the transparency.
I like that too, because it feels like when they explain it a little bit, it makes me feel I might not like it, but I at least know where they're coming from. Because a lot of times in these type of deals, they just give the ruling and they never explain it. They never say why, and then you don't know what they're looking for. It's like a beauty contest, pretty much.
Yeah. All right, let's shift gears now to Virginia Tech.
All right.
We weren't going to spend too much time on the Hokies, but program's been in complete disarray. Fired its
Yeah.
coach in midseason. It unraveled fast. We were talking. I mean, it's only been about a year since they came down here to Hard Rock
Yeah.
and put a
Took it to the last play.
took us to the last play of the game. So, man, they just haven't had it right this year. And now they hire James Franklin. So the first question I have for you, LT, is how do these teams fluctuate so much? Like, and why? You know, why are they competitive in 2024 and then it all comes unraveled in 2025? And this used to be a program that you could count on year after year after year. Then Beamer leaves and everything kind of falls apart a little bit.
Yeah. I think for Virginia Tech, man, they like you said, when the Beamer ball was going, they were always, a couple of things. They were going to be tough. They were going to be tough, and they were going to play great special teams. Um, you just don't know their identity anymore. Last year, Drones comes down here. He has some couple receivers and some running backs, and they played decent defense, and they gave us problems. But this year, uh, Drones, he's he's running the ball still. He's had some touchdowns. He had some, but passing the ball, I think they're only passing the ball for 175 yards a game, and they're very low on completions, and they're 129th in the red zone. I think what is it, 136 teams in the
Something like that.
NCAA.
Yeah.
They're 129th in red zone struggle, like in the red zone. That's pretty damn bad. That is bad. So they just haven't been in it. Then they lost their their second receiver, D Green. He just left the program, and that's another thing. You got guys coming and going, right? And then you add people. Sometimes you add the wrong people. That's what some of these teams aren't successful because they added the wrong people. Um, and they just got Aiden Green out there. That's their only receiver they have. I mean, it is. They're having some struggles this year. This has been a year of struggle, and now you got a head coach who just got hired, who is hovering over the program now. He's going to hover. I've been there, where we're hovering, and the other guys are going in their offices, and you're like, "That's my office." It's a weird deal, man. When you're the incoming coach our coaches and the guys are still working. And, you know, I think it could go either way. The head coach might say, hey, screw it, man, I don't care. Or he could say, hey, I want to put on a good showing. This is my name on this, or I want to make a good showing for the head coach that's coming in. One of the issues is, and they've always said this, the first guy that goes is the interim head coach. He's the first guy that gets fired.
Yeah, does this motivate the guys on the? Do you think it kind of gives them a shot in the arm? The guys on
Well,
the Virginia Tech team, they're
well,
kind of like auditioning for the new
yes,
coach.
yes, you're auditioning. Um, as he walks through the office, they're even kissing some ass. Coaches and staff, all and players. He's the new guy on the block. Um, yeah, I really believe these guys are either saying, "Hey, a new guy's coming in. I got a chance. Everybody starts from zero. Everybody starts from scratch, or I got to get out of here and go find a place that might need me." It's a weird scenario today's college football with a new coach coming in. You got to decide whether you want to stay or you want to leave.
You
And
know, but as down as they are, and they are, this is not the Virginia Tech that we knew in the day.
no,
I mean,
no,
this is not Michael Vick's Virginia Tech.
no.
Um, they were able to go hire James Franklin. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a big deal for them.
Well, I think one of the reasons why they probably were able to hire James Franklin because he's getting paid a lot of money from Penn State, and so
Yeah,
now you can get him
but Penn State cut a deal with him. It only cost them $9 million because Virginia Tech is making up
making up.
enough
Okay,
so much
okay.
money. Yeah,
Well, I mean, they want to win. I mean, I guess they want to try to turn this thing around. I mean, they had a lot of pride in that program. Back in the day, you knew one thing: they were gonna come play physically tough. They were going to try to beat you up. They might not have been that good, but they were going to be physically tough. So that pride, and they were going to always give a great special team. They were going to play great on special teams. So hey, maybe they were saying we made the investment. We're going after a big time coach. Yeah, maybe it might be he might have just needed a uh, change of scenery, and he'll put a staff in there, and we'll be able to get back on track. Kids will come and play for James Franklin. That's what they're hoping.
Jennifer Miller puts it perfectly. Got to win
Yes,
and win with style points.
yes, yes,
I love this Jennifer Miller, man. Jennifer, I got to meet you someday. She's on every show we do.
yeah.
LT. She's our like. I don't know how many other women watch the shows, but she is literally here every time we do a show. And thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate that you are doing that. All right, LT. Let's take this thing home tonight with a little word association,
Okay.
and let's start with Virginia
Wait,
Tech.
wait, wait, wait. Before we get into the word association, I'm wearing this Coach Thomas hat. The B right there. The B is for Buchholz, and it's Buchholz Golf. But really, Buchholz, the high school. That's my high school. We won the first round of the playoffs against Oviedo, 49-41 in the shootout. And I got to tell you, they got a kid up there named Justin Williams. He might be the greatest receiver to ever play at Buchholz. This kid is a
Really?
bad man, but he's going to Florida. He's a
Is he
bad.
really?
Oh man, he is the shit.
So who's Coach Thomas?
Oh, this is my daddy hat.
Oh,
My
okay.
daddy coached. My daddy coached the golf team, so I get to when he said, "Hey man, I got 20 hats," and he coached for a long time the golf team. So Coach Thomas, we got the same last name, and I was a coach at one point, and
I
still
like
could be. So
I,
I get all his leftover stuff from Buho. So
I
but
like
yeah, I
that.
wanted to give a shout out to Coach Whittemore and the Buho's broadcast. I think they playing maybe Nice. I think they're playing Nice this week. So go Bobcats. All right, we go right into it now. I had to get that out the way.
All right. All right, let's go with the Bobcats out of the way. Let's go into word association and let's
All right.
start with Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
What
Well,
pops
we
into your
talked.
mind when I say
Yeah.
Virginia Tech?
Well, what used to pop into my mind was I didn't know what the hell a hokey was. So I just always like, what is that? What is that? So I don't even think I still know what it is. It has something to do with a turkey, I guess. Uh, and those brown maroon jerseys, uh, really ugly uniforms, and it went along with a tough, gritty defense. Guys that knock your block off if they had a chance, and really good special teams.
I was just saying
Today,
special teams.
yeah, no identity. I mean, they have no identity anymore, and you know, I really believe drones is going to try to run around a little bit. Um, he's going to try to do his thing, but he doesn't have any weapons. With our pass rush, he's going to have to try to make plays, and our secondary has been playing well. You only got one good receiver. Uh, it could be a long day for him. It could be a long day for Virginia Tech. Um, you know what? I think I scored. We went up there my senior year and we beat them pretty good. It felt good. I think at the end of the game, I was leading the band. I was leading their band. That's how bad we were beating them. That's what Miami needs to do. Beat them so bad that you can go over and lead the band, be a band instructor like I was, conductor. I guess that's what they call it. But that's what we need.
What do you think of Enter Sandman? The entrance.
Oh, that's an awesome deal they got going. I mean, that is I've been around South Carolina, had a great little deal. But that is one of the highlights of that's some cool stuff. It's
It's one of the
really
good
a
ones,
cool,
man.
yeah, it's really a cool thing to do. Um, yeah, it's really cool, really cool.
All right, let's go Tyrone Drones.
Well, we just talked about him, Kyron Jones. I mean, he's their guy. I mean, he came down here last year and almost beat us. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's related to Cam Ward. Isn't that the game that he? I think they're related.
Yeah,
Hell,
they might.
hell, they
Yeah,
took us to
I
the.
think I remember that being in the conversation at that. But
I
yeah,
think they took us to the last damn play.
yeah, they did.
And man, this is he's still a good quarterback. He just doesn't have it. And as my man Kelvin Harris always said, I watch their tackles and they're trash. They trash. And so what that means is Mesidor and Ruben Bain, who, by the way, when I saw him walking as a senior, I said, "What the fuck? Has he been here that long? I
3
didn't know
years.
he.
3 years.
He just got here.
I
I
know.
just, I was
It,
just getting to know the guy.
it goes fast, man.
It goes fast, but yeah, they're gonna meet that guy. He's gonna have a nice meeting at the. He's gonna have to throw that ball away quick, and when you throw it quick to inexperienced and guys that aren't that good, our secondary they're looking to chomp on that. They're looking to extend what they had last week going.
The Ruben Bain thing's kind of interesting. I mean, to me, he's having a very pedestrian season. He's got 3 sacks, I think 5 or 6 tackles for loss. I
Yeah,
mean, he started the year like gangbusters, but
yeah,
like, I mean, I remember him being exhausted at Florida State, and
yeah.
ever since then, he hasn't been the same guy. He's not making the
Well,
same impact.
I can tell you this, Gary. Stand on the sideline, because we had 8 home games.
Yeah,
I got to see.
you got
I
to do
got
it a little bit, LT.
yeah, I got to do it a little bit. I got to see towards the latter part, like these last couple games, he's been coming out. He ain't staying in the whole game now. He comes out, let those other guys get it. Lightfoot, what's the other guy? Dang, I can't think of his name. It's another one.
You think he's
Another.
trying not to get hurt, LT?
Well, I don't think he's trying not to get hurt. I think he's realizing that, you know what? Let those other guys get in there. And I see him a lot, sometimes on first and second down, not in there. Coming in on third down. I
Mm.
mean, and he's a problem. He's truly a problem. I can't think. What's the other defensive end name? They come in when
Mesidor,
they no, we know Mesidor. When they come in
Lightfoot,
with that like Lightfoot and it's
and
one more
Armando Blunt.
Armando Blunt. There you go, the Blunt man. When those 4 guys in there, that is their speed rush, third down package, and they are flying up the field. But he's been coming out, man. Which is, I said it after Florida State game that, man, this kid doesn't come out. He stays in the whole game, and he's in great shape. He has to be in great shape. But yeah, you got to be smart. You got to be smart because we all know from playing the game. Injuries happen a lot when you're tired, when you're fatigued,
Yeah.
when your body's just not strong enough to. So somebody probably told him, "Hey man, take yourself out, get
You
yourself
need to cut
fresh."
your reps, cut
Yes,
your reps a little
yes,
bit. Yeah.
yes.
Mesidor has double the number of sacks. He's got 6.
Mm,
Isn't that
yeah,
amazing?
yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see where Mesidor gets drafted. All right, let's go to James Franklin.
Well, you were just known as the guy that just couldn't win the big ones.
Yeah.
Um, you 10 wins, but you always lose that one or two. You lose the one to maybe Ohio State, and then you always lose the one to somebody you shouldn't lose to. And I think what happened when they just wore the Penn State people out because they got tired of that, and that's where college football is. You have to be able to somehow win the big games that you're supposed to win. And now he's at Virginia Tech, and for them, I think they're looking at it. Maybe he just needs a change of scenery, and get
Yeah.
in the ACC. Maybe be able to win some of those big games because you know he is a coach that he's kind of like Mark Richt, right? Mark Richt at Georgia. You're gonna get that 9, 10 wins, right? That's
Yeah.
what you got. But he
Right.
just wasn't able to get.
Wasn't able to get the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like Kirby's taking them to the next
yes,
level.
yes. And so, um, I mean, those are good quality coaches. They just got to somehow get that 1 or 2 win um, to um, to get over the hump. Now, and I don't mean to change the subject, but I got a chance to talk to Coach Rick. Man, he went into the Hall of Fame. A lot of those, I think, who else went in? The little DB that played at Baltimore, Dwayne
Dwayne
Starks went
Dwayne
in.
Starks.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I got a chance, talk to Coach Rick, man. Man, I told him thank you for everything he did for our program because he's really the one that brought a light to what was going on as far as uh, him and Kirk Herbstreit brought a light to what was going on as far as what the coaches, the salaries and stuff like that. They were really behind the 8 ball. Everybody just thought Miami was on par, and they weren't. Coaches only had 1 year contracts. That's hard to keep good coaches. You have one
Right.
contracts that end in January. So guys are trying to figure out if they're still going to be there. It was all kind of crazy. So shout out to Coach Rick, man. Congratulations. Had the chance to talk to him. Very nice guy. Very nice guy.
You think Virginia Tech will take the 9-10 win seasons and be happy?
I think after what they've gone through, I think they will at first. Um, and he's gonna have to win some games after that. I think at first they probably will, maybe the first and second year, but year
Right.
3 and 4 they're gonna expect more. Maybe an opportunity to compete for the ACC championship. I think that's where or get into the CFP. You
Hey,
know,
if Georgia
I,
Tech and Virginia can do it, Virginia Tech can certainly do it.
yeah, yes they can.
All right. Let me throw Gerard Pringle out at you.
Man, the Pringle man. I mean, I like Pringles. I really do. I like the ranch Pringles. Matter of fact, my kids like the sour cream and onion. But this guy, man, I mean, what a fresh air. I mean, this guy hits that. I mean, he's so quick. Again, I said Alex Johnson, who ran a 4.2, 4.3, 4.2, somewhere around the line, and Leonard Conley, who just was so shifty like a little water bug.
He
He
looked
just
like he was running 4-2.
yeah, it was like a combination. He just hiding behind big old Leon Cersei, and this guy's hiding behind big old
Yes,
Malagoa and Bell, and he's hiding, and then all of a
he
sudden he
is.
pops out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's man, it's a joy to watch. I mean, love to see him. Um, I would love to see him catch the ball too out of the backfield.
He,
I think
he
that'll
can.
be yeah. I think that'll be a great weapon to have. Um, he gives you some options. That's just not running the ball down your throat.
Mm.
And so I like it. I really like it. I think he's going to give defensive coordinators a nightmare because with all three of those guys, they're all different, and to get him going, it's going to be great to watch.
4 LT. Remember, there's 4.
I know.
Don't forget Jordan Lyle.
I know. I can't. Man, Lyle was over there on the sideline looking sad, man.
Crazy,
I saw
man.
him. He just
Crazy.
had his head down. The guys were like pumping him on the shoulder. So hopefully, man, he might, if he gets the opportunity to get in there, I hope he does well and get 1 or 2 runs. Now you got 4 guys, and that's 4 guys, and you gotta scout them all. So hope he gets the opportunity.
All right, let's finish this thing off with Mario Cristobal.
All right, Mario, do your business, man. You wanted these big games. I mean, this is an opportunity to, like James Franklin. I mean, you got to win these games. It's on the line for us to have an opportunity to get to the CFP, and you want to end the year on a good note. So, I mean, give yourself the opportunity by winning this game against Virginia Tech, and then going up to a Pitt team and winning the game up there. And that's what it boils down to. I think if you're able to do that, and I hope we're able to make the playoffs at that point, or maybe even sneak into the ACC championship. I think it'll be a better off season, if you don't win one of these games. It's going to be crazy. And so this is the games you talked about when you got here. These are games you want to coach in, get that team ready. I know you will. And let's end this season and let's see what the voters say. That's all you can do. You can't cry about spilled milk. You put yourself in the right situation, and you win these 2 games. You say, hey, we did what we were supposed to do after we messed up. Those other teams, those 7-win teams that beat us, they played an outstanding game. We just didn't come to play that night, and they beat us, or that day. But we got it together. We righted the ship, and we won out. So let's see what happens.
All right, LT, another great week of the Lamar Thomas Show. Got to thank Brett Romberg for coming on. He's always great. And got to thank CaneSport for sponsoring.
Yes.
Get on over to CaneSport. You can't do it before a game, like I said, but you can do it any day of the week, and you never have enough Canes gear. They have such great variety that there's no way you have everything they have in the store. Buy some for your family, your friends here with the holidays coming up. You can load up stocking stuffers, whatever you need, they'll have for you at CaneSport, 2655 South University Drive in Davie, or caneswear.com. All right, LT, Canes go to Virginia Tech, and we'll be back next week at this time to chop it up and talk about that and where they stand at that point in the ACC race and the college football playoff. So looking forward to all of that and a big Canes weekend here on Saturday. So for Lamar Thomas, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody, and we will see you next time.
Go Canes.